Karma is a word you hear a lot these days. It's a term that has found its way into everyday conversations, social media posts, and even pop culture references. But what does it really mean? Is it just a mystical concept, or is there more to it? In a nutshell, karma is the law of cause and effect. It's a principle that suggests every action we take has a corresponding reaction. It says that every action creates a reaction. This reaction can be immediate, or it can take time to manifest. This is true on all levels, physical, mental, and spiritual. Our thoughts, words, and actions all contribute to this cycle. Think of it like this. If you plant a seed, you can expect a plant to grow. The type of plant depends on the seed you sow. In the same way, every thought, word, and deed plants a seed in the mind. These seeds shape our future experiences. These seeds will eventually sprout and bear fruit in the form of our experiences. The quality of these experiences depends on the nature of the seeds. Karma is often misunderstood as fate or destiny. Many people think it's about predestined outcomes. However, it is not about punishment or reward. It's not a cosmic system of justice. Instead, it is a natural law that operates impartially. It doesn't judge, it simply balances. It is simply the universe's way of maintaining balance. This balance is essential for harmony in life. Karma teaches us that we are responsible for our own lives. Our actions today shape our tomorrow. We are not victims of circumstance. We have the ability to influence our own destiny through our choices. We have the power to create our own happiness or suffering. By being mindful of our actions, we can steer our lives in a positive direction. By understanding karma, we can start to make choices that will lead to a brighter future, both for ourselves and for the world around us. This awareness can transform our lives and the lives of those we touch. The idea of karma has been around for thousands of years. It is a central concept in many Eastern philosophies, particularly Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. While the details may differ, these traditions all share the belief that our actions have consequences. The origins of karma can be traced back to the ancient Vedas, the sacred scriptures of Hinduism. The Vedas are a collection of hymns, prayers, and rituals that were passed down orally for centuries before being written down. The concept of karma is mentioned in several Vedic hymns. For example, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad states, "As a man himself sows, so he himself reaps. No man inherits the good or evil act of another man." This passage clearly shows that the idea of karma was already present in early Indian thought. From these ancient roots, the concept of karma developed and evolved over time. It became intertwined with other important ideas, such as reincarnation and liberation. The law of karma has profound implications for how we understand life and death. If our actions create consequences that extend beyond this lifetime, then death is not the end of the story. This naturally leads to the idea of reincarnation, the belief that we are reborn into this world again and again. Reincarnation is not seen as a punishment, but rather as an opportunity to learn and grow. Each lifetime is like a day in school. We come into this world to learn certain lessons. If we don't learn them in this lifetime, we will have to come back and try again. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continues until we have learned all the lessons we need to and have purified our karma. Only then can we break free from the cycle and achieve liberation. While the basic principle of karma is widely accepted in Indian philosophy, there are some differences in how it is understood and interpreted. For example, some schools of thought emphasize the individual nature of karma. They believe that we are solely responsible for our own actions and their consequences. Other schools, however, believe that karma can also be collective. This means that we can be affected by the actions of others, such as our family, community, and even the entire world. There is also debate about the role of God in the karmic process. Some believe that God actively judges our actions and determines our fate. Others, however, see God as more of a passive observer. They believe that karma operates independently of any divine intervention. Despite these differences, all schools of Indian philosophy agree that karma is a powerful force that shapes our lives. Section 5. Understanding Samsara, the cycle of birth and death. Samsara is a Sanskrit word that literally means wandering or world. It refers to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that we are all caught in. According to Indian philosophy, we have lived countless lives in the past, and we will continue to live countless lives in the future. Samsara is driven by karma. Our actions create karmic traces, or seeds, that determine the conditions of our future lives. These karmic traces can be positive, negative, or neutral. Positive karma leads to pleasant experiences, while negative karma leads to suffering. Samsara is often described as a wheel, with each spoke representing a different realm of existence. These realms can range from the heavenly to the hellish, and everything in between. The realm we are born into is determined by our karma. Section 6. The Path to Moksha, Liberation from Samsara. Moksha is another Sanskrit word that means liberation or release. It is the ultimate goal of life in many Indian philosophies, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Moksha represents freedom from samsara, the cycle of birth and death. It is a state of perfect peace, bliss, and liberation from suffering. Once moksha is achieved, there is no more rebirth. There are many paths to moksha, but they all involve purifying one's karma and cultivating spiritual wisdom. This can be done through practices like meditation, yoga, selfless service, and ethical living. The path to moksha is not easy, but it is the most worthwhile journey we can take. It is a journey of self-discovery, transformation, and ultimately liberation. Section 7. Karma in Action, Examples and Stories. The concept of karma can be difficult to grasp, but it can be helpful to look at some examples of how it might play out in our lives. Karma is often described as the law of cause and effect, where our actions, whether good or bad, have repercussions. Let's say you see someone struggling to carry a heavy load. This scenario is a simple yet powerful illustration of how karma operates in everyday situations. If you are feeling kind and compassionate, you might offer to help them. This act of kindness not only eases their burden, but also generates positive energy for you. This action would create positive karma. Positive karma can manifest in various ways, such as receiving help when you need it, or experiencing a sense of inner peace and satisfaction. On the other hand, if you are feeling selfish and indifferent, you might ignore their plight. This choice reflects a lack of empathy and compassion. This inaction would create negative karma. Negative karma can lead to feelings of guilt, regret, or even future situations where you find yourself in need and are ignored by others. Stories and parables are often used to illustrate the principle of karma. These narratives help us understand complex ideas through relatable and memorable examples. One well-known story is about a king who was cursed by a sage. This tale has been passed down through generations to teach the importance of our actions. The sage told the king that he would die from the bite of a snake in 7 days. This prophecy set the stage for a dramatic unfolding of events. The king was terrified and did everything he could to avoid his fate. He surrounded himself with guards and took extreme precautions. However, on the 7th day, he was bitten by a snake hidden in a basket of flowers. Despite all his efforts, he could not escape his destiny. As he lay dying, the king asked the sage why he had to suffer such a fate. His question reflected his confusion and desperation. The sage replied, "Your karma has caught up with you." This statement underscored the inevitability of karmic consequences. Many lifetimes ago, you were a cruel hunter who killed animals for sport. The sage revealed the king's past actions that led to his current suffering. This story teaches us that our actions have consequences, even if those consequences are not immediately apparent. It reminds us to be mindful of our deeds as they shape our future experiences. Section 8. The significance of karma in Indian thought. Karma is not just an abstract philosophical concept. It is a deeply ingrained belief that has a profound impact on Indian culture and society. It shapes everything from everyday interactions to major life decisions. The idea of karma influences how people treat each other and how they view their own lives. It shapes everything from everyday interactions to major life decisions. For example, the concept of karma is often cited to explain why some people are born into wealth and privilege, while others are born into poverty and suffering. This belief extends to various aspects of life, including social status and personal relationships. It is also used to justify the caste system, a rigid social hierarchy that has been a part of Indian society for centuries. The caste system, though officially abolished, still influences social dynamics. While the caste system is now outlawed in India, its legacy continues to cast a long shadow. The remnants of this system can still be seen in various social and economic disparities. Karma is also seen as a powerful motivator for ethical behavior. The belief that our actions have consequences encourages people to live in a way that will lead to positive karma. This can be seen in the emphasis on non-violence, compassion, and generosity in many Indian traditions. Acts of kindness and charity are often performed with the hope of accruing good karma. The belief that our actions have consequences encourages people to live in a way that will lead to positive karma. This is evident in the widespread practice of meditation and spiritual teachings. This can be seen in the emphasis on non-violence, compassion, and generosity in many Indian traditions. These values are deeply embedded in the cultural and spiritual fabric of India. Section 9. Conclusion. Karma's enduring relevance. The concept of karma has been around for thousands of years, and it continues to resonate with people today. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages about instant gratification and self-interest, karma offers a refreshing alternative. It reminds us that our actions have consequences, both for ourselves and for others. It encourages us to live with intention, compassion, and a sense of responsibility for the world around us. Whether we believe in reincarnation or not, the law of karma offers valuable lessons for living a meaningful and ethical life. By understanding the principles of karma, we can start to create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come.